Another lovely mouse house. He's got quite the operation going on here. Got our piece off of here. I left this because I'd like to maybe use this as the inner structure, kind of like what I did up there, and not so much down there, but if you can imagine the door edge, I'd like to keep these lines in it as we go through. I plan to. So, get this out of the way, maybe see how this is kind of looking up here.
All it takes is one job, oh yeah. All it takes is one job, and everything is gonna be okay.
As you can see now, we have more of an open floor plan. This gives us a bunch of light into the kitchen. Now I'm trying to get this train of doors up in the area by myself. Get some stands in here and see if we can get this thing up here. Alright, let's see if I can't blow my ass out up here. Okay, you can kind of see I got the hinge in there pretty close. Kind of see right there, that's that corner that's hitting the outside skin here. And that might not be quite enough. You can see there's a bigger gap at the top, and that's just because the hinge pins are 100% 90 degrees, and that pillar's leaned in a little bit. Each one leans a little bit. So you can always plan that a real set of hinges, this pin, if you drew a straight line down, it's going to go straight through both holes. That's how you get a door to swing level if you're doing suicide door hinges or whatever. But I might need to kind of cut the bottom ones down a little bit and change that angle so I can get a little bit tighter here, because what I'm running into is these floors are close. Like this looks like it's going to go right there. You know, that corner is supposed to be there, and that corner is supposed to be there, but I might have a little bit too much spacing still to get these in the right spots. I don't really want to mess with that at the moment. What I'd like to do is get it up here and get this one, this frame, set in as far as I can on that. If I need to shuffle these other ones tighter, if I can get that a little tighter, then that's what we'll do. But for right now, I need to get more of this skin out of the way to see exactly where these can end up. So I want to leave extra because I got to lay this skin right on top of this and weld it to this little edge here that I left. So it's actually going to weld right to that guy right there. And that will finish off this edge and get us to where this is basically the beginning of our quarter panel edge when we're going to be done here. So I'm going to make some marks, but I'm going to probably be more like here. And that way, if we can get these to shuffle forward a little bit, I got some extra here. Don't want to cut this too short, because then we're going to end up with a seam here and a seam here, and that would be just super awful. Super, 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 super awful. So we're going to give ourselves some extra, even though it's going to be a super pain in the butt to work around. But I think that's where we need to start. So with the face of our lower hinge here butted up into the door jamb like we have, it's this gap, these two just still aren't quite tight enough together to get this to all fit where we have it made to go. So I'm going to, you can kind of see how this hinge comes around. That's as far in as it goes, so I can cut a little bit out of here and get that nut out of there, because we can bolt it in from whichever way. Well, that is going to be kind of an issue. I don't know quite how it's going to work. But we're going to try to cut this down and get a little more room. So the hinges were taking up a little too much room, so having it all together here wasn't working. So I got this one off and I'm getting it in there pretty close, and then we're going to see how far that hinge is needed to pocket in there, and we'll see what we're going to have to do with that. But I think this is starting to get in there with a lot of trimming, a lot more trimming. We've got it to this point. So I'm going to see if I can set it a little better, get a little more solid, so I can kind of take a look at this and see how we're doing. Okay, I got a couple of screws in here to kind of hold it, and you can see if I butt this up against there, we have about that much of a gap. So that's about what we need to take off here, which is about possibly 100% of what we got. But if I can cut it off and then move that plate in, I can probably put the bolt through the bottom or the top here, or both, and so like it'll just be moved in and have a flat plate that can grab on both sides, or one at least. But it's gonna be a tough one. I was having a problem with these lower hinges. This one was 3.5 from side to side. This one was 3. This one was 3.5. So I had to scrooch this one back a 1/2 inch. So now that one's 3.5, and then I moved that one back a 1/2 inch, and so that one made 3.5 again. But now I got the lowers even, and these guys are also measured out to be even. I still have to cut this again. You can see we have our little bit of overlap here, so I need to cut that back, but that's really a scary cut to make. It'd be nice to work forward on this, but on vehicles you're supposed to go quarter first and align this door, align this door, align this door, align this door, and then align the fender to that. So it's kind of a rough combination of things. You kind of just have to get things close and then go through it again and get it closer, because we're not going to nail this first try. It doesn't seem like. I've already redone this a couple of times, moving these around, but they're close. It's close. And these rockers are all so bad that, like you can see, this is one piece coming into here, but then this one isn't. Someone put this on, and then they stack this even on top of that, so that moves this up, you know, probably a full 1/8 by the time you get done with that. So kind of hard to line up on what you can line up to, because different things have been worked over. That one's obviously super crunkled and it's real beat, so we'll have to see what we're going to do with these. But basically what I'm doing is kind of lining this up square to our backing plate there, and it seems to be going okay. But it's taken most of a day to get to this point. Our hinges, of course, need to have that backing piece cut down, because we're still gapping that a little bit. So we need to get that end off of here. And so we'll probably start with that next, and maybe even hanging doors in these just to make sure they're going to go with the doors there. But what a mess. We got a lot of work to do here.
All it takes is one job, oh yeah. All it takes is one job, and